So much for an introduction. Hello, Real Estate Rockstars. Coach Hana here. This was very entertaining. And Coach Linda here. We would love to invite you for 30 minutes. I know we are starting a little bit late. We had a technical difficulties. Part of it you have seen. But now we are all good, 100% in. We have 30 minutes of Coach Linda's time. Meanwhile, while we will be talking about maybe not as attractive topic, but extremely important, bookkeeping, money keeping, profitability. If you have any questions on Coach Linda, why don't you type it down below? I have my dear Roseanne, you've seen here at her desk. In case there will be any questions, she'll write them down and we can bring them up over these 30 minutes. The topic, once again, is bookkeeping, money keeping, profitability. And you know what, it can even go beyond, because Linda has been my business coach since 2019, but I would like to focus this time and today purely on her upcoming course, which is actually extremely big and robust. I would like to dive a little bit deeper because we need to help you guys to keep more money. And that happens with bookkeeping. That happens when you actually understand where the money is going. And if you can somehow, you know, kind of push it towards your profit. So Linda,
keep more of the money you make. You know, it's very, very interesting. You talk to most coaches and they are going to say, if you want more money, you have to make more money. Sell, 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 sell. It's a lot easier to keep the money that comes in your door than it is to make more money. So although, yes, you have to sell, it's really important to focus on the money that comes in and keep more of it than it goes out. So an easy way to get a raise quickly is usually looking at your expenses. What am I spending every month? What's going on my credit card? What's going onto my personal account? What am I paying for in cash? How can I keep some of that money that comes in my door?
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm glad that you've opened up with your thought. And that is a golden nugget on its own, not to keep on hustling more, but hustling in a smart way. So 2019, remember, you and I, we started with me having my shoebox in front of the Zoom. And you were, yes, you were basically helping me to figure out how to get on a path of bigger profitability and not necessarily having more clients, closing more deals. When it comes to this, okay, what are the first 1, 2, 3 points you would like people to understand?
Bookkeeping is one, keep it simple. The less work you have to do, the easier it is going to be. So first is keep it simple. The second is set up your system for success. So when most people think about bookkeeping, they are saying, I will get to it. I just started my business. I don't need my bookkeeping yet. I'm going to reverse that and say the very first thing you should do is set up your bookkeeping system. You come up with a business name, you set up your business, you set up your bookkeeping system. Because especially in real estate, you're starting out with expenses going out the door. You're not starting out with income. You're starting out with classes. You're starting out with licenses. You're starting out with dues. You're starting out with marketing. You haven't even made a sale yet, and you might have months worth of expenses going out the door. So the very first thing you want to do is set up your system.
Yeah.
So
I know, I'm sorry, I know that this is part of your big course, but for the newbies who are out there, what does it mean to set up a bookkeeping system?
There's easy ones, there's somewhat easy ones, and then there's very manual ones. So way back when, depending on how old you are, I am old enough to remember, Hana, you might not be, there was this big, long green ledger paper that
no, we're not doing that. No.
Right. Every single bookkeeper used to write down a check and then categorize it on this ledger paper. And sometimes you had hundreds of ledger papers at the end of the year, and you had rolling numbers, right? You would total that column and move it to the next page on the stop and keep going down. Well, that is very manual. We don't want to do that.
No.
You then can have things like an Excel spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
Still manual. You still have to type in the date, who you spent the money for, why you spent the money, and how much was going out, and then create formulas and categories and everything else for this. Once again, still very manual, less manual than the handwriting on the ledger paper, but still pretty manual. Then you have something called cloud-based accounting systems.
Ah.
What they do is they actually download the information from your bank and your credit card companies. And so half the information is already in your system. You already have the date and you already have the amount. Now we're just going through and saying, this is who I spent the money with, and this is why. You've got really 2 data entry points for every transaction. So it makes life much simpler. You don't have to worry about adding and subtracting. So for those of you who tell me I am not a numbers person, I'm like, great, cloud accounting is perfect for you. I don't care about your numbers. I just care about why you spent the money you spent, where you spent it. So this is actually perfect for you. And then we get to go, well, you know what? I'm told to spend most of my time on what I'm good at. And what I'm good at is selling real estate. So why should I spend my time doing the bookkeeping? So I'm going to go back and ask you and say, how many transactions do you do a day? How many times do you run your credit card a day? How many softwares are automatically billed to you each day? And most often I get an answer 10 or less. So if you had just to go into your bank and say, oh, I got a Zoom bill yesterday, Zoom software, and that's all you had to do. How long was that? 5 seconds, 10 seconds? We're literally talking minutes a day. So some people I know are out there spending $3,500 a month on a bookkeeper. Some people spend $150 a month on a bookkeeper. You know, there's a huge range there, but if it takes you less than 10 minutes a day, wouldn't you want that $150 a month, $1,800 a year, or $1,500 a month in your pocket rather than giving it to somebody else who, by the way, I just got off with a client and she's like, I can't believe I paid $387 a month for my bookkeeper. And they basically created an Excel spreadsheet that I had to fill in the blanks for every month and tell them why I spent this money. It went back to them. They entered the information into my cloud-based software for me. And half the time they did it wrong. So she's like, why was I paying them all this money when it takes me 5 minutes a day?
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, I have a secret for you. Bookkeeping can be easy. I think we are just naturally, as a human, we are naturally afraid of what we don't know. But what we don't know, we don't know. And hey, listen, I have a Linda here and she has the golden key to teach you the numbers and actually fall in love and grow stronger and more confident when it comes to numbers and bookkeeping and understanding. And at the end, it can also save you money in the long run. So time is ticking. Let's go straight into your course, Linda. I would have to, one more thing. Okay.
Well, I want to go backwards too. You know, if you don't have a bookkeeper, Hana, at one point in time, you didn't have that bookkeeper. You took that box of receipts to the CPA. Yes. That's going to take longer for your CPA to do your tax return, which will then cost more money, right? So, oh, I don't need to do my bookkeeping. My CPA takes care of it at year end. Well, they're doing your bookkeeping for you and it's going to cost you. So once again, you might not think you need that bookkeeper, that you have that CPA, it's still costing you more money.
Yeah.
So
there's one more aspect to it. If you empower yourself and if you learn the numbers and bookkeeping, you also are more aware on daily, weekly, monthly basis of what's happening. You know, me with the shoebox was basically once a year, help me. And, you know, during the year, we have so many opportunities to tweak the cash flow, tweak the profit, and also adjust the numbers of how high will be our tax responsibility. So there is way more to it, don't you think?
Oh, there is a lot more to it. And, you know, for real estate agents, and I'm thinking the high-end real estate agents right now, the luxury real estate agents, you're advertising for those homes to be sold. How much are you actually spending? Did you give yourself a budget or amount to spend? I like a spending plan versus a budget because that means you're thinking about it before you do it. Do you spend 0.5% on a spending for marketing these luxury homes? Do you spend 1% on these luxury homes, or do you just spend until it's sold? Right? So it's much easier to keep some of the money if you go in with a plan on what you're spending.
Yeah. Wow. So
All right. So bookkeeping course. Okay. It is really what the reason we're doing it now. Let me start with the reason we're doing it now. We are in the last quarter of the year, which means some of you are out there getting your taxes done either September 15th or October 15th. So now you're worrying about 2022 taxes at the end of 2023, which meant that this was a weight hanging around your neck for the last 10 months.
yes.
Wouldn't it be really, really nice to say, it's January 1st. My CPA or my tax advisor can do my taxes. I am all done. And put 2023 to bed on January 1st or January 10th, definitely by January 31st, right? Just get it done and have it be over with, instead of having this weight drag us down all year long. Now, April 15th comes around, our taxes are done. We take a deep breath and say, I'm glad that's over, right? Okay, oh, it's only over for 2.5 months because January 1st, I have to worry about 2023. So let's just not worry about it. Let's just get 2023 done in the next 2.5 months. You can do it step by step, which is what the course takes us through. It goes through step by step. How do we categorize that income that's coming in? How do we categorize that money that's going out? And you notice I'm not saying, how do we add the numbers? Because we're not worried about the numbers. The software is going to do that. So those of you that are telling me, oh, I'm not a number person, or I'm a red hot mess, that's okay. Okay. But if Hana, I said, Hana, why did you buy Zoom? Could you tell me why you purchased Zoom?
Because I was sleepless at 3 a.m.
Okay. What do you use Zoom for?
No,
What do you
I'm just kidding. We are on a Zoom. We are on a Zoom daily, several times a day. It's a cost of doing business.
Right. It's a cost of doing business. It's a software, or it is a dues, or it's depending on what you want to categorize it at, as long as you're doing it consistently. Right.
Yes.
You don't want to put Zoom in as meals one time and Zoom in as a software another time and Zoom
True.
in as marketing the third. Right. You want to keep it consistent. And so you, as the person, your brain thinks consistently. If you learn once that, oh, Zoom is software, then every time it comes down, you're going to say, oh, Zoom, set it up as a software. Even better, we can set up rules in your accounting cloud-based software to say, every time it sees Zoom come through, set it up as a rule that it is a software. Then you just have to add it.
Magic.
So we do auto magic, right?
Awesome.
But you have to make sure that you set it up correctly, because unfortunately, too many people, especially with QuickBooks, they let QuickBooks kind of set itself up, which is really bad news, because then you're getting errors and things aren't consistent, and you get a mortgage payment as a bank loan, or you get, a bank account, not a loan. Honest answer, somebody who's purchased a building and this $489,000 ended up as a bank account versus a loan. So you need to know some things on how to set up your system. So let's set it up. Most real estate agents have about 10 or less transactions a day. So you take that and, you do 20 or 30 transactions a day between now and the end of the year. You pretty much will have your year taken care of. Because with the rules, it'll make it really easy, but they have to be set up correctly.
Yeah.
So the whole goal is to take this course. It's 6 sessions held over 2 weeks, an hour a session. The sessions are recorded, and the sessions are going to be a lot of this. We're doing this because of that. This is how you do this, and this is why. A lot of how do you get it done? I'm actually just giving you Xero or QuickBooks videos on how to do the task. So I'm not going to spend a lot of my time or your time teaching you the task. You can go and have a video. This is how you enter income, and it's going to show you. I'm going to teach you what the different types of income are so that when you get there, you know how to categorize it, not how to enter it. That's what the QuickBooks video is for, or that's what the Xero video is for. So by the end of the course, we'll learn how to enter income. We'll learn how to enter expenses. We'll learn how to put the money in that you're using of your own personal cash, or when you take money out of your business to pay yourself. We'll learn how to do that. We'll learn how to make sure that what you're entering actually matches what the bank has, and to be aware of fraudulent charges. We were on a coaching call yesterday, and I had never heard of this, but not only had one of our coaches had their credit card hacked and fraudulent charges being on their credit card, their income account, which is they do courses on their own, their Stripe account was hacked and money was coming in and going to somebody else and bypassing him completely. Yeah. So you need to be aware that not only can you be hacked on the outgoing side, you can be hacked on the ingoing side. So what's going to end up happening is Stripe is going to end up sending a report to the government. You made $7 million this year, when maybe you only made $7,000 this year, or 70,000 or 700, right? So it's not just making sure the money we're spending is correct, but the money that's coming in is correct as well. And then finally, how to gather all this paperwork that the government, not the government, excuse me, your tax preparer is looking for so that they can file your tax returns at year end. So by doing these steps, you'll actually have your bookkeeping done in January. And yes, it's only over 6 sessions because there's a lot of things you're going to do repetitively every single day. And then what I'm going to do as a bonus to your members is have office hours every week for the next 2 months, right, through November and December, to make sure that what they're doing is actually correct, that they don't stumble and fall and say, oh, this is too hard. We want to make sure that this is something that they can do. It's a lifelong skill. Just like going to kindergarten and learning how to read, or going to kindergarten and learning how to add. You don't learn that or know that before going into kindergarten. That's what you're learning in kindergarten so that you can do it the rest of your life. That think of this course as your kindergarten of finances. We're going to teach you the basics of what you need to know that you can then start building on.
Yeah. And you know what? Once again, don't worry if you've been in a business for a long time and you are still unsure about how to do the bookkeeping, how to look at your cash flow. Linda is here to help you, because this course, it's not only for beginners, right? In entrepreneurship, it's for people who've been at it for quite a while, but they have a big hot mess at home, right?
Well, and it's the big hot mess we don't want to see, right? So you might see it because you have the file of papers on your desk, or the basket of papers. You might be one of those people who throw every single receipt out and you don't see anything. So if you get stumbled when you're trying to help your CPA or your tax advisor prepare your taxes, you don't have that piece of paper, we'll teach you what's important to keep and what's not important to keep. So what this course is for the very beginner, just starting out, it is for the seasoned professional who has somebody else doing their books, but kind of says, well, I don't know what they're doing. They just do it. So how, as the business owner, are you confirming that the person who's doing your books is doing it right?
That is actually a very interesting angle, because I think we need to be holding the steering wheel of our own businesses, even though if we pass it on someone else to do it eventually, but having the understanding if stuff gets done right, that's rule number 1, right?
Right. So we're going to be the beginner through the seasoned professional who has the team, who has the agency, somebody else is doing it, and everything in between, because we can all use some tips and tricks and help along the way. Right? We are not meant to be, I know, and this, I guess, I don't like the term solopreneur, because that means we're all alone. We are not all alone, right? We are entrepreneurs. We are all working together to help each other out to make all boats float higher and higher. So even if you work by yourself, we are here so you are not all alone. We're helping you do sales, we're helping you do transitions. And now we actually want to help you make sure that your finances are in order, because you don't want to be me. And the first year my husband and I started our boat dealership. Yes, we had a boat dealership. We owed $62,000 of income taxes come April. And so this actually started me going from corporate finance down into my world of entrepreneurship, because I'm like, 62,000, we don't have $62,000 in cash. We didn't save that much, right? We had $12,000 in the bank at that point in time that we could have given the government. So yes, we went on the payment plan and we did everything we were needed to do, but that was the last time. From then on out, I was planning for taxes every single month. And so even with a degree in economics, being an international accountant, being an economist, being the money manager, I, with my experience, still did not do what I should have done. Why? Because
makes me feel better.
Right? It's not that we don't know, but we don't know what we don't know. So if somebody's not going to teach us, or we're not willing to take the time or effort to do it, unfortunately, we get hit, blindsided, and socked out, and we're down for the count for a couple minutes. Right. And we don't want to lose our boxing match. We want to come on top, and we want to be the winners. We want to be that Rocky of our finances, that Rocky of bookkeeping. We want to be on top.
Yes, knowledge is power if it's applied. And this is basically what you are offering to those who feel the nervousness of taxes coming up and receipts in the shoe boxes, and not really knowing where the money is coming and going and all that. So it's basically peace of mind. So I'll do a little recap. It is 6 sessions within 2 weeks. It is hands-on. It involves a bookkeeping system called Xero or QuickBooks. And after the first 6 sessions, which will be all pre-recorded, but they'll be live as well, right?
Right.
You will continue the education until the end of this year with your office hours, offering help with very specific situations, because I understand that some realtors, they are just realtors, but some realtors are investors. They might be flippers. They might have their Airbnbs, and that, creates layers upon layers and different questions. So all of that can be brought to your attention, Coach Linda?
All of that can be brought to my attention, and we will go through all of that. The one thing I want you to know, when I'm having office hours, my office hours are different than most office hours, because people get embarrassed and feel judged if they don't know something about money. It breaks my heart. Money is a taboo subject. Like if you ask your parents, how much money do you earn? They probably never told you. They probably, as a child, never told you how much money the house cost. They probably never said, oh my goodness, daddy got laid off or mommy got laid off. How are we going to afford things? So first, I recommend that everybody keep money as an open subject with your children. Don't judge yourself against anybody else, because your whole life situation is different. When I first started out my business, I did it as a hobby, not to even earn money, but to talk to adults. So if you looked at my bookkeeping firm with 5 clients against somebody else's firm, it wouldn't have even been fair comparison, because I wasn't even asking for money. So of course I made less. And then my whole goal was, well, if I'm putting my kids in daycare, I just have to pay for the daycare, right? Now I'm putting 2 kids through college, right? So there's a whole different ball of wax, even in yourself, on what you're looking to earn. So don't judge yourself against somebody else. But what that brings me to is, I want your questions in advance, because I am never going to use your name, and I am never going to use your QuickBooks to help in a group session. I'm going to recreate that in my own QuickBooks. So all the questions for office hours are going to be anonymous answers, anonymous questions, anonymous answers. So nobody has to feel bad or judged by asking a question.
I think that's a great deal. I don't wanna wash my laundry in front of everyone.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
the funny thing, you got me thinking back in time when I was little. So this is what I've learned from my parents about money. Money doesn't grow on a tree. Or there is one more. Do I look like I have a copy printer for money?
no,
Pretty
here's my
useless. Pretty useless. You know, what can I do with it? So I'm really loving that you had put this course together for your clients, for your students, and you open up the invitation to all real estate rock stars as well. I find it extremely important. Listen, guys, you have to know more about money. You have to keep on educating yourself and then spread it out. Teach your kids about money, teach them basic cash flow, teach them how to make money, but also teach them how to keep money. Deal? This is very important.
and mindset.
Yes.
So Hana, what if I told you your dad was wrong? Money does grow on trees.
Which one?
Okay. So
Which brand?
So let's think about money and let's think about trees. What grows
Okay.
on trees? Apples, bananas,
Yeah.
fruit.
Lettuce, lemons.
Okay. All your produce. Okay. That's all money. Maple
Oh,
syrup.
okay. Gotcha.
Maple syrup. Trees
Gotcha.
and money, right?
Okay.
When the trees are old and die and we cut them down, that gets turned into paper,
Okay.
which
Okay.
is more money. So trees by themselves are all money.
Oh, you're
So
funny.
what you want is how many trees can you have around you? Do you
Ah,
want to live in a desert with no vegetation, or do you want to live in a forest?
oh, yes, please.
Okay, so let's all live in the forest or the parks.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And trees are money,
Trees are money. Okay. 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 Okay.
right? So it's
I
it's a
still can't
mindset
print the
shift.
money, you know. I think I can't get a license on that one.
Well, you can't get the license on it, but right? So our parents did say money don't grow on trees. I beg to differ. Money does grow on trees. Mindset shift.
That's a good one. I totally love it. Yeah. And actually, guys, by the way, you will get a lot of this type of mind shifting during your education with Coach Linda, I promise. And a little tiny secret, I will be on the course as well because I happen to invest into real estate as well. And that brings completely different form of bookkeeping, which needs to be tied with my other businesses. So I am here with all of you still learning. What is that? Right?
Learning. Right. So yes, money mastery for small business owners. Begin with bookkeeping. And truly, and the reason it was named Begin with Bookkeeping is because I want your business to begin with the bookkeeping. So you can begin with the bookkeeping and end with the profits.
Yes. Yes. With the money, I'll be clipping to the tree. Sending pictures.
Exactly. Did we have any questions, Hana?
Roseanne, do we have any questions? No questions. I hope we didn't freak them out, but you know what? All of this is for your own benefit. So if you have any more questions, I will ask Roseanne to add a link. You can always reach us here at the Real Estate Rockstars. I'll do a little recap. The course starts October 22nd or 3rd?
6th, I think that.
Okay. October 26th.
23rd. It's Monday. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the last full week of October and the first week in November.
Excellent. And then it continues with the office hours until the end of this year. Knowing Coach Linda, if we will all pull on the rope on one end and ask her for maybe a little extra laugh in January, February, maybe she can help us. I know this is my hobby, to put people on a hot seat and give them straight questions, open questions in live streaming on Facebook, but she will forgive me. Before we'll go, how much this goodness is costing? Like $5,000, $3,000. Where did you price it?
Well,
because you told me that like there are
it's $597.
Oh, $597.
$597. If you were to go get a QuickBooks bookkeeper that they supply to you, or a Zero bookkeeper, you're starting out at about $1,800 a year, and it goes up from there.
Wait, you'll have the systems doing the bookkeeping for you. That's 1,800 right there.
starts at 1,800.
Starts at, and that's something what you need to keep on paying.
Mhm.
Oh, well, I take $5.97 all day long.
Well, especially for minutes a day. And not only does it empower you to know your own finances, it's keeping you on track of the pulse point of your business. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have cattails all around. But here's my last thing that I want to say. Hana, do you think you know more than a 13-year-old?
I would like to say so, yes.
Okay. When my daughter was 13 years old, when she was 13 years old, she was the best bookkeeper that has ever worked for me.
What?
She was the best bookkeeper that has ever worked for me. Okay, she's now in college.
Okay.
And she took accounting 1 and accounting 2. And the teacher was teaching something. She said, excuse me, I think that is actually incorrect. I think it goes this way. The teacher's like, no, 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 no. She goes, are you sure? Because I believe it goes this way. The teacher researched it and my daughter was right.
Wow.
Okay, not to say that my daughter is smart. I taught my daughter how to do bookkeeping for me one year. She was home and I'm like, you're not just going to sit home doing nothing. Get on to the computer. I'm going to teach you how to be a bookkeeper. So she got on the computer and she learned how to do bookkeeping. So if a 13-year-old can do it and teach a college professor about accounting, anybody here can do it.
Wow, I love that. By the way, this is the first time I'm hearing this story. Don't keep up these awesome stories away from me. But you are right, because it's kind of mechanical, it's very repetitable, it's systematic. And you know
it's
what?
not about the numbers.
Yeah.
It is not about bookkeeping, is not about the numbers, it's about the categories.
Categories, yeah. And hey, so many of our members, they have children 13 years and up. So another opportunity to get your kids involved in your business and teach them young, right?
Teach them young and they can get paid for it, which then puts the money into their college fund and you can count it as a business expense.
Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. Linda, I know we are a long time past our jam session, but it was absolutely worth it. And it was fun. Hey, bookkeeping can be fun as well, because you'll make it fun. Thank you again. Once again, I'm looking forward to join you on your class. I have some questions already. And guys, if you have any questions for our coach Linda regarding bookkeeping, finances, profitability, please let us know. We will bring her back on a jam session or any other webinars we are planning here at Real Estate Rockstars. Linda, thank you one more time, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
It's always fun. Thank you, Hana. Bye-bye.
The end.